Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shorty. And today, for the first time in a while, I'm going to review a brand new thing from Aftershock Comics. Not that there hasn't been some cool Aftershock stuff out there, not that it hasn't grabbed my attention, but sometimes when I've only got like chance to do 3 or 4 reviews a week, some stuff gets pushed back. I mean, last week I deliberately did within 2 a day to try and get through them. This week there isn't a huge pile of stuff. There's like a Web of Spider-Man, DC Pride. Well, look, DC Pride, I am going to read it, but reviewing anthologies in only 5 minutes it's tiring, I'm afraid. I might read it and then just give you a very quick thumbs up or thumbs down later on in the week about it. But the reason I'm reviewing Bunny Mask is name on the cover, Paul Tobin, just reminded me when I first saw it that he wrote Colder, which is a very underrated horror comic book. It came out actually not long after I went to the business as a comic book store. I'd never heard of the guy, but there was something about the cover which just grabbed me, and it's one of the creepiest bits of artwork I've seen, and I ended up thoroughly enjoying the comic book. I couldn't even remember who published it. I couldn't tell you the name of the artist, but there was something about that comic book that just grabbed hold of me because it was just elegantly creepy. It was disgusting in places too, but it was that just kind of all-pervasive creepiness that really grabbed my attention and would not let go. So when I saw he was writing something else, I was like, yeah, I can check it out. And this one, I do know this artist, Andrea Muti, who I think did the art for Maniac of New York. And to say I thoroughly enjoy watercolor artwork in comic books is a massive understatement. I think it's something which, admittedly, I'd hate to see it used all the time, but when it is used, it looks great. It's the kind of thing that just takes it away from being your kind of bog standard in-house style, flashy computer coloring, too much cross-hatching that's possibly good for you. And I think the lack of kind of background detail you get on it, it really drags in the focus to where it needs to be. It's got to be done well, and Andrea Muti does it very, very well indeed. Cannot deny how good the artwork is for this one. In fact, I think he's potentially slightly wasted because writing-wise, this absolutely revels in being a mystery. There is a whole lot of stuff going on without really much explanation as to the whys and the wherefores. It starts 14 years ago with some people going to investigate a child that's not been going to school and the dad being a little bit odd. And it then just turns absolutely brutal in no seconds flat, but then drifts away from that into more obscure, almost paranoia, conspiracy theory, maybe just out and out madness. Maybe there is something going on, but it's a weird kind of domestic torture. But without really, you don't see much of the violence. There is violence there, and you do see some of it. And when you do, it is just, it's so brutal and so unforgiving that it's almost jarring to the nature of the rest of the story. Because there is then an actual supernatural event. I'm not really spoiling much from this one. You can read the blurb on the comic book, and it will tell you that there is something going on here. It isn't just all in somebody's mind. But when that happens, again, it is kind of sudden. From a couple of page setup where they take the time to build up, and they use page layouts and lots of small panels to show progression of time. They even do the bit where it's like a day 31, day 77, and they are showing how much time has passed in just obvious and subtle ways until you get to the point that something happens. But then once the event is over, the storytelling drops right back down again. It becomes just kind of naturalistic, people going about their lives, weird coincidences happen. And then you get another odd jump of somebody a couple of police officers going to investigate the scene of the initial event, and actually discovering a whole lot of weird, creepy, clearly supernaturally inspired things going on. And unfortunately, it is that kind of ride up and down, which kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. I know some great horror stories where they can use changes in pacing to actually ramp up the horror and the terror and the creepiness, because they know just when to peak off and then drop down. But they drop down to something which is still kind of a low-key creepiness to it, something where you can still sense that there is more to come, that the horror has never left, that we are just in a lull. And to be honest, it could be that they're deliberately trying to lull us into that false sense of security. This one, it just feels like it goes, all right, now we're going to go and talk about something else. It doesn't have that grasp of timing, which I think is necessary for when you're dealing with lots of story over several locations in several years, and sometimes several days happening in a matter of pages. It just feels like a missed opportunity where there's a chance to engage with the reader in a way that never quite managed to come through. It's mildly disappointing, but I do have a lot of faith in Paul Tobin. As I said, I've really enjoyed stuff before, so I'm definitely going to check out issue 2, because the fact that it is all mysterious and stuff means I want to know what's going on. He has done that brilliantly, but he's not made a very scary comic book, unfortunately, which is a shame. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to have to call it there. I've got several things to review, so come back tomorrow. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Till then, take it easy and stay safe, everyone. Bye.